Well, hello there, beautiful people. Today I'm going to talk about this beautiful book right here. It's called The Rough Work of Frank Frazetta. And there's a lot of good stuff in here. But I'm going to show you some of the artwork that's in here while I talk about some of the things they mentioned in the book. But this video is going to focus on how Frank Frazetta was so successful and how he created his thumbnails or his rough work and how that helped him create his paintings in the very end. This is part of the introduction from the book. It says, every artist has their own procedure, a unique methodology when creating. Some have to gather research materials, make copious notes, rent or borrow props and costumes, and shoot photographs of models before they're completely comfortable dipping their brush into paint. Others only feel ready when their studios are set just so, with a palette neatly arranged and canvases or boards perfectly sized, prepped, and positioned. Some like to endlessly talk a project out, either with fellow artists or art directors, while others prefer to ruminate in private to let the images gestate in their minds before they can begin to sketch. Some paint during the day, with TVs or music blaring and family and friends popping in and out, others in dead of night in solitude and silence. But however they work, whatever makes them comfortable, there is a routine, a system, some sort of formalized structure that is conducive to the process they formulated, either through training or through trial and error, that makes it possible to create art. Now this is in Frazetta's own words. At first we did roughs on everything and got them approved. Often the roughs were superior to the finished art. The roughs had more charm, more color, more everything. And finally I gave up doing roughs altogether. Frank would say, "The hell with roughing this thing that's doing it twice. You know I can do it. They'll take the final painting and like it. The hell with rough." And it worked. So Frazetta apparently used to do a lot of roughs and compositions in color, and like he said, he figured it was like working twice as hard, and he was so good he didn't have to anyways. He just took his thumbnails and the little thumbnails and started splashing paint on the canvas based off the thumbnails, and that is I suppose you could say that was his secret. That's how he did it. If you look at in that book I showed you, you can see a lot of thumbnails and all these little images of everything he did, and you can see his mind working on the poses, perspectives, and colors, and that's how he did it. He did it by making little thumbnails, black and white, tiny little things, and then made a bigger version of it, and that's how he did it. Since we're talking about thumbnails, I suggest you pick up a 5x7 sketch pad like this. It's the perfect size to sketch out little ideas. So I'm gonna thumbnail a Frazetta type setting with a warrior fighting maybe a wizard or something like that. So I have in mind where we see the back of the warrior. Since we're working small here, let me zoom in. So these are thumbnails. So this is like the head of the warrior, and this is his back here, and I'm gonna have him. He could be walking forward, and over here he could have a shield. And we're gonna have figure out what his leg's going to be doing. We have one leg forward, one leg back, and we sort of decide just the crotch area. I always do this because it helps out to nail down the crotch area. And I can sort of go from here. I can have this leg forward, like this, and then this leg going back. And this is the little line skeletons that I do. And this is what I would do usually if I don't know exactly the pose I'm going to be using. Sometimes also change the leg as I sketch it through. And we can decide that this is so this is your thinking process right here. You're not gonna do any like amazing artwork for this. We want to show the pose. Maybe he's looking up, and the weapon. So these are done sort of quickly, like, and it's okay if it's not in the right perspective or even the right anatomy. Right now we're working out poses. Now it's much easier to draw small like this. When you work your ideas out, you cover less space, and it's just much quicker and easier to draw a character than if I were to use a large sheet of paper. So here, this would be one pose. And then I'll think of another one. And I'll start with the head again. Maybe this one is more hunched over, and then I still want to have the shield. And you could do some sheeting if you like. And then we could have this arm. This is the back muscles, back of the neck. And we want him looking up, so we're going to have the ears. The ears go down when you look up. So that tells the viewer that, you know, this guy's looking up. You're not going to see his nose or anything. But here again, maybe tilt the shield out. I mean, you could do some details, but you don't need to right at this point. Right now we're trying to establish poses for our hero. And then another sword. But this is more sort of like maybe he turned around. You see, all these ideas come to me. These ideas come to me as I sketch this stuff out. Maybe he was walking this way, right? So I'll draw his leg like this. And then the other leg will be back over here. So it looks like he heard a sound and he's gonna check that out. And then here you don't have to do this, but you could later on when you finalize this pose, when you see a pose that you like, then you come back here and actually dress it up if you like. So its arm would be here, elbow, and then like I said, you could dress him up and give him armor and whatnot and things like that. So we have two poses. We can do a third pose. Maybe it's a more frontal. Again, I start with the head. And we're looking at the back and the back of our hero. And we want to put a curve. We always want to put a curve to maybe the shoulders are slumped. And then this is the back of the shoulders. And here's the crotch area. And it could be, arm could be out this way with the shield. And then this arm could be sort of forward with a sword. It looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger. And then back of the neck, up, his ears are down here, because that shows that he's looking up at something. And we can have him, give him a stance. Some sort of cool stance. and so on. So now we have, 3 poses. And then out of these 3 poses, we choose one that we like best, and then we make it better. Now the wizard's going to be looking at him. And right now I'm sort of like, I want one where he's got his hand holding a staff. So here's a staff, right? And then maybe his hand's up here. So it's okay to put the hand first. Shoulders, crotch area. And he's supposed to be holding onto this. So this staff's kind of quite a bit away from his hand. So what I'm going to do is put his hand first. And go like this, and you make adjustments. See? Put the hand first, and this could be like that. And then you'd go in here and, well, don't get ahead of myself, but erase that other arm I didn't care for. And he has some vestments. Maybe the vestments are in the air. They're sort of moving around. And he's bald. He's got his beard. He's an evil wizard of some sort. And then maybe has a sash. And that's waving in the air. So now we have the cloak here. And this would probably be hanging down like that, because the sleeve would probably just drop. And of course we give some sort of cool design to the staff. And here we're not doing any lighting or anything like that. And then you want to make some changes, erase some areas so you know what's going on. So later on when you look at your piece, you'll know what's happening. Too many lines can be confusing. And maybe he has collar. And then we can elaborate his dress later on. So we want one pose there. And then move on and do another pose over here. And sometimes it's good just to do a little shading like that for the eyes and the nose, to get more features. Maybe some shadowing and things like that. So there's his beard, and maybe he is holding his stuff over here, this direction, like that. And then you just do these little quick lines to show that that's his hand. Maybe you could have, and you could be holding this one too. So see how we sort of move the arm? Now it sort of changes. And now I'm starting to see, I'm starting to like this one better. And I'm going to have his body like this. Okay, first let's put a little thickness there. And we can have like his knees bent here. And the rest of this is sort of going with the wind. Maybe there's some air flying wherever they're going to fight. And again, go with the same idea of the collar. And maybe he has pointy shoulder pads. And we have this flowing in the air. So we go here and erase stuff. So, like that. And then his sash would be something like that. Maybe you could see part of his foot down here. And the staff would come down. And you see how it sort of starts to come around. And his other foot could be here. You can always adjust this. Whatever, something like that. And we're going to have the other sleeve over here. And then we're going to erase this. And I put some shading over here. Maybe he has a talisman. I don't know, you can have fun with this, dressing it up. So we have two poses. We have this one and that one. And these are thumbnails. They're not very large. And then we can go even smaller. So let's say you have a scene, maybe a similar scene. Those are bigger thumbnails, but you can actually go even smaller where you have like the head, you have, and at this point you sort of a silhouette. You silhouette the shapes. You could do it with a pen, pencil, whatever you like, and you can have any of this as a shadow. The lighting is coming from the right. Let's get some long shadows. And over here he's fighting the wizard. And the wizard's not very happy. And he's holding a staff with his hand on it. And the other hand here. So this is more of a silhouetting thumbnail ideas. And then you can have, maybe he's on some stairs, I don't know. And maybe he has a throne back here where he sits down and does whatever. Anyways, you get the idea, you get the picture. So this is more of a shaded in technique, which also works really good. I've done many things like that where it's sort of just shaded in without any features, just to get the poses, to get the feel, to the composition also. So it's sort of heavy over here, so you want to balance off on this left side. We're going to have a ground, but we have to have something here. So let's put like a wall. Some sort of base the underground. So now this is balanced here, this and this, left and right. And over here could be more wall or cave. Maybe he's in a cavern or something like that. So yeah, that's how you do the thumbnails. And then you would take this and make a bigger version. And whether it could be a drawing or a painting, that's how you would do it. And the other drawings that I did of the wizard, For the wizard and the warrior, I would just take these and put them together in one scene and go from there. Thanks for watching.